Hey, little bats. My name's Abby,
And I'm Mads.
and this is,
I'm
and
Holly.
that's Holly. And this is the Bookishly Unhinged podcast.
Like, am I supposed to intro? It's probably your job.
I love this.
Woo!
Today we have Holly
Yay.
Wilde with us.
We only had to record the intro 5 times.
It was all me. It's always all me.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, Abby, get with the program.
So sorry.
But we have Holly Wilde today. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm so excited to be here with you guys.
Get unhinged with us.
Definitely unhinged.
I'm good at that.
We have so many questions.
Our first one is,
So many questions.
are you ready?
A lot of them. What
the fuck? That's our first question.
What the actual fuck? Respectfully, because we love and adore you. But what the fuck?
But what the fuck?
I feel like there's two types of what the fuck. There's people that enjoy it and they're like, what the fuck? That was a time. Thank you for bringing that into my life. And then there's the people that are like, I saw this. It's not my jam. What the fuck?
I am definitely the first one.
So like I get both. I get both inflections.
Yeah, we're the what the fuck. We love this.
Love this. Like, read all of them in like 3 days. Loved them. So,
well, I'm grateful. I'm glad you're a part of the what the fuck. Okay, let's just roll with it. Proud.
Abby, do you want to start us off, my dear?
I do.
With the actual questions.
With the actual question. So what inspired you to start writing sentient object romance?
Yeah, I actually, it's not where I started writing. I write a whole bunch of other things. And I started with a book that is like sentient adjacent, where this woman like does a spell on somebody and she, on her it's a one night stand with the candy cane man. And she thinks she turns him into a candy cane. But, spoiler, she doesn't. He just goes out and gets coffee. But she wakes up after like reading this spell and wakes up with a candy cane on her. And she's like, oh my gosh, I turned him into a candy cane. And as she's like going through her spell book to reverse it, she's like, I have to fuck the candy cane in order to bring him back into a human. And I had so much fun like banging a thing that does not belong in the places. And so I didn't stop writing about banging things that don't really belong in the places. It's fun.
And thank God for that.
It is so fun. It's so fun. My next question is, how do you pop them out so quickly? Like, what else did I write?
Yeah,
they're just, so I love it. I love it, obviously. Give me all of it. But how?
Yeah, I wish I had like a fun, happy answer for this. I have like really bad chronic illness and I spend a lot of time in bed and it's really hard for me to get out of bed. And so when I'm there, writing is really therapeutic for me. A few years back, we didn't realize that we were living in a toxic mold house and we had to throw everything away. Our clothes, my kids' toys, our furniture, like we had to start from ground zero because I didn't realize that the mold was attacking my lungs and my brain. And I couldn't think and talk and get out of bed. I'm clearly doing a lot better now.
Yeah.
But writing was one of the ways that I reconnected kind of with my brain as I was going through therapies and stuff to try to get healthy again. And I wrote a lot of dark stuff, like dystopian, like the world is ending. I was in a dark place. So, but that's also why my books don't have traumatic backstories, because in that time, like trigger warning, we lost a bunch of 3 pets in like the span of just a few months. It was so much all at once. And I was like, we're gonna only do silly, happy things.
Yeah.
So the books are like chaotic and there seems like there's no rules, but the only rules are like everybody eventually treats each other really well and has a lot of sexy fun. And it's just silly because going through a dark time kind of makes you want to it like when you're going through that, you realize a lot of books are dark. Now I'm such a dark romance girl, so like,
Yeah,
I mean,
we are
give it to
too.
me. But sometimes you need something just playful um and I couldn't find exactly what I was looking for, so I made it. And now people are reading it, and that's
Yeah.
weird to me, but I'm so here for it.
We're here for
Well,
it.
I
So
love that
that's
you're doing
yeah.
better and you kind of found a outlet to like bring yourself joy with all that going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that things will slow down. I have been getting like so much better. Some months I write more because I'm in bed more. Some months I get to be like full on like mom mode and just me. So I'm away from the phone and the computer more, and it's a cycle. But you know, they're little silly shorties, so they're just fun to create and just kind of yeah.
I
I
love
love
that.
Sorry, it's not
that.
that fun of an answer, but that's how
But
I
No,
it's
that
get them
perfect.
out so quickly.
I love it though.
Yeah.
well, this kind of goes with that question. Do you ever plan to write like a full-length novel, or are you sticking to the shorter
Yeah.
form?
I do have full-length novels on my computer that I'm still working through. So one of them is one of them is Captured by the Cyclops, where it's an optometrist, an ophthalmologist, and a Cyclops, and he's like he's like dark romance guy. He's got something going on with his eye, but he's too proud to admit it. So he kidnaps the doctor and he's like, you have to fix me. And she's like, how dare you kidnap me from my patients just because you're this rich, powerful billionaire Cyclops? And he's like, yeah, spoiler, they might fall in love. They might bang. We'll have to see.
They may or may not bang.
That sounds so good.
That's
But that one
awesome.
has been so much fun. But it's taking a long time. Like again, compared to like
Yeah.
the little ones. And then I do write with my husband things that are not romance at all. So we have again, I'm writing all the time, and so when I'm in the middle of a project, he wants to hang out with me. And so he started writing this zombie apocalypse story, and then he had me tag along with some of it. So we are creating like a horror thriller, no romance, no puns, just straight up gore and you know the concepts of like what does humanity look like when everything falls apart, and that's fun. I like
Oh
writing
my
with
That
him.
sounds
gosh.
so
So
cool.
yes, there are non-sentient. I don't know when they'll be released because again, the bigger projects take longer for editing and like working through it. But man, I'm so excited for them. I cannot wait to share them.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun concept, and you get to write it with your husband. Like, how cool.
That's such a fun thing to
Yeah,
do.
he's my work partner. He designs all of the Peen covers
He
and everything.
does.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
he's my artist,
That's
and it's kind of like what kind of peen are we going to create next? And sometimes I'll tell him things. Oh my gosh, when I would start in the sentient, right? He was like, people don't really read this. I'm like, I read this. He's like, no, you don't. I'm like, you have no idea what's on my Kindle right now. Just don't. And so yeah, he didn't believe that people would read something like when I did the birthday bear. He's like, nobody's gonna read about a bear. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
then
did. Yeah, we did.
weird Robo Gyno came about as a joke. Like, what are you gonna do next? Like a speculum? And I'm like,
Yeah.
you bet.
Oh my goodness.
And that's
I love
yeah.
that.
You're like, oh, if you thought that was bad, just you
Just
wait. We can
Now he's
find
down
some
for
stuff.
it. Yeah.
So since you brought up the
Oh, that's
birthday
funny.
bear, I know he explodes and makes himself into a little tiny bear, but why couldn't he have just stayed big? She could have had him forever.
Yes. Well, that series is not completed. Here, okay, I'm like, how much do I want to share?
Ice cream is
First of all, I thought it was so funny that he would come like all of his stuffing
I
and
love
then just
that.
shrink and just be like, happy birthday. That made me laugh. But if you noticed in Cupped, there's a little bit of a cliffhanger where it's like, I wonder if the guys are going to be, small again when I wake up. They're not. They're going to go to Paris together in the prologue of the fourth Bear book. And then there's going to be just a solo trip back to the cabin with the teddy bear and his birthday girl. And we'll have to see what happens a year later after she's been carrying around this small bear.
I love
So,
that.
Oh, I am so
so not
excited.
all hope is lost for him. Cake Man's out. He's gone. I can't bring him back.
No,
Yeah,
he's gone.
he's toast.
He's done.
He's gone. But Birthday Bear has one more story, and then that's the end of my very first like big series.
I just finished Cupped, and I was wondering, I was like, all the other ones we had an explanation on like where they went, and I was like, are they cups? My question is in parentheses, it was like, does she drink out of her cups like her coffee every morning out of Chad and Derek? Like, does she just drink out of them every morning?
Yeah, so the other thing about my writing is I'll write a bunch and then I'll delete like 3,000 words. So the story changes all the time. And what I had at the end of that one was an epilogue of them waking her up and being like, hey, it's time to wake up and do our workout. Let's do a leg day. And then they just like dive between her legs and go to town. I think that might be how I might bring that scene back in the other one, but that was really fun because I had them like tying her up, like your arms need a rest. You worked them out yesterday. So yeah.
Oh, yes.
I feel like they're like gym bro types, the cuppies.
Oh,
The
totally,
cuppies.
Gym Bros.
But yeah, you might even like hear a little sentient air nod in that one because they got to get to Paris somehow. So I'm
Oh my god.
Yes,
I
the
love doing little
cameos.
crossovers like that. I don't know. To me, it's hilarious.
It's so funny.
Yeah, just like a quick little cameo.
Yeah.
Just
We
like
were literally just
little
talking about
mention.
cameos earlier.
I think Airpeen was probably my favorite one. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Airpeen was my
Airpeen.
favorite, and I kept thinking, like, damn, I hate flying, but if this
was
is what happened on my flight, I may enjoy it a little
like,
more.
is this why we have turbulence?
I would be flying all over the place.
Me too.
Maybe I will upgrade my seat. I don't know.
I would upgrade my seat in a heartbeat. Like, literally, yes. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, that's what the extra leg room is for?
Gotta have room to shake.
Yeah.
leg shaking
The
and
leg
trembling.
Oh,
shaking.
goodness.
No, I
gracious.
definitely advertise it. Like, oh yes, no, I'm the exclusive. Like, show off my exclusive
Mhm.
pin or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'm sentient exclusive.
Right. How do you come up with the ideas for like each thing? Like, were you on a flight one day and you were like, oh, you know what would make this even better? Or like on the beach looking at your suntan lotion, like,
Yeah, yes and no. So one thing about sentient authors, and I do talk to a lot of them, um, is like we'll joke behind the scenes and like send little memes to each other, like who's writing this book, because everything is fuckable. And it's so weird.
Yeah.
But that's my life now. It's like, huh, what kind of kink would this thing be into?
Why am I going to look at objects
But
and never
so
never the
yes,
same?
there is definitely.
Never the same.
Oh my gosh. And I love that the genre is just growing. So like more and more people are just like everything's fuckable, nothing's off limits. And
Mm-hmm.
it's really nice. Um but I don't know necessarily how I feel like half the time it's a joke. So like somebody, for example, in Poseidon, somebody made a comment on Thea's post, like, oh my gosh, I couldn't have sand like, in all the places. And Thea and I were joking about like that'd be hilarious to make that into a book. And then we did.
Yeah. Oh my
And I
I
gosh.
think
love
that a
that
lot of
book.
them happen as jokes between my husband and I. Oh my, that was such a fun project. I am so freaking lucky that I got to work with her because it was great. She's great. It was flawless. We were laughing so much, just like coming up with ideas and being like, that's what we're doing. And
Right?
yeah.
That's so
Can we
funny.
Yeah.
pause for
But I think they all had like Earth started because my husband turned the Earth into a penis and was like, what about this for a cover? And again, I was like, bet I will make the Earth a penis. And then
Mm-hmm.
it just made sense that, okay, so now a giant space woman has to be the one to screw it. But why would she do that? Because the Earth is going to explode
Yeah.
and kill all of humanity naturally. And
Right.
made up some crazy interdimensional science with dark matter. I don't even know.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah. It's the beauty of being an author. You can just make up the rules.
Um, so what made you do sentient objects versus like shifter romance?
You know, I don't I don't know. It happened to be what um it's a great question. It happened to be what kind of ended up settling in. I don't know. I never really did shifter. I never tried shifter until I wrote TBR and I did the shifter and the witch little passage in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never tried writing a shifter. It just went straight from I would write human stories. I wrote a Kraken dystopian story and I was comfortable writing like just straight up monsters that don't change into humans. And then all of a sudden I was just like things. Shifters never really entered the chat.
Yeah.
Just
wow.
yeah.
Because I was always reading Shifter, and you're the first like sentient object author that I've found.
Same.
So now
Aw.
I'm like into it. I've always just read shifters, and I'm like, well, yeah, why wouldn't they just stay the object? That kind of almost makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that the ones that I create don't they're no they were never human. They
Mm-hmm.
were always a thing. And I know that there are people that don't like my style of writing because they're like, why is everybody so comfortable with a giant egg sitting at the table eating deviled eggs? Like why is this
Why aren't they
okay?
all freaking out?
And to me it's just like where
I said, why are they
yeah.
all freaking out?
Instead they're just like these are delicious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
um the yeah, I just it made sense to me that like okay, so if it's a sentient object, it's going to just exist. It's going to just be an object. And that's the final say. I
Mhm.
don't have an explanation to why the fuck my brain is like, absolutely.
Right.
Like,
Right.
there's no other way for this. It's just how it is. And it made sense to me because the
Mhm.
story was about the connection between the people and the
Yeah.
way that they, like, whatever their dynamic was. And I didn't want it to get muddled with, okay, well, now I have to explain why this comes to life, where the backstory is, and make people work to get to the relationship.
Mhm.
It just didn't vibe with my writing style. I just felt like the relationship was the key component of my
Mhm.
stories, my short little stories. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I
I
love
love
that.
that too. I'm reading that.
And I'm
I'm
glad because
reading.
there are people who really, really struggle.
Yeah, and I don't know why, like, if it's not for you, for sure, it's not going to be for everyone, but I
No.
have a ball. It's 30-ish pages of me, like, slightly horny, laughing a lot. Like, I'm just having the best fucking time in 35 pages, or,
Same.
so it's nice that you can do that in such a short amount of pages.
Yeah,
Yay, thank
I
you.
agree.
I
Yeah.
love making spicy sex that confuses people because
Mhm.
then there's like this line or this pun that I toss in and they're like, fuck, I'm reading something really weird, but it sounds hot.
Mhm.
Why? Why? And I don't know. Yeah. It just
That's how I felt
makes
Yeah,
my heart
or
the
happy.
whole time for
I'm
Milk for
reading
Daddy.
about
The whole time I
yeah.
was just like, this is really weird, but I love it the whole time. And it was the best. It was the best book ever. I mean, seriously,
I'm
I
so
read it
glad.
this morning. It was great.
Oh, thank you. I
Of
appreciate that
course.
one. That one was a little different because I didn't give him a big old penis. And
Right.
that's I like to try to make sure all of my sentient objects are different. So it's not just like, here's the thing, it's big, let's bang. The end. I really do try to stretch out what the storyline could be. And so this one, I didn't give him a penis, but I gave him a big personality and just more of that commanding presence. And he was just straight up like a dom for the mafia boss to just learn how to let go of control. I feel like that's a lot of my characters. And maybe if I wanted to, I could deep dive into why I write a lot of controlling people. Because Shelby was all about control in the egg book. Because she was like, my party has to be perfect. And then the egg is like, chillax, babe.
Yeah.
We're going to have a good time anyway. And then the mafia boss is all about controlling. And then the ice cube is like, hey, just let me boss you around and tell you what it is that you need to do and let yourself just give in to the moment. Maybe I'm controlling. We'll have to see. That could be too much self-reflection for now.
Just a little.
We'll need your husband to chime in, see what he
Yeah.
thinks.
We most certainly do not.
Oh my goodness. I'm reading my questions that I wrote and I'm just like laughing at myself. Like, why am I like this? So,
The what the
the what the
fucks.
fuck? I wrote what the fuck. How many times did I write it? One, two, three, four, at least. So, Poseidon. I loved Poseidon. I read it. Where was I at? I was in my mom's car and she was like, "What are you reading?" Because she saw the she saw the cover on my Kindle, and she reads romance too, but she's never read Sentient, so having to explain it to her, she thought it was hilarious.
The coctical trident.
Was fantastic.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with that?
with the cocticle.
Yes.
I do love to play with names for Peens, and it started kind of as a joke. It started in Birthday Bear. I don't think with anything that came before Birthday Bear had it, but I wanted to use manhood, but he's not a man. So I was like, his bear hood, and it stuck. And people were like, oh my gosh, I love it. And I was like, I low key love this too. So then the other ones it just kept evolving to like something hood, cake hood, godhood. And then the tentacle cock, like we were just writing tentacle cock, like all the time. And I'm just like, we need another word. It's cockticle. Like it just, yeah.
That's so funny.
Because I don't like, it's so hard being an erotic scene author because there are only so many words. And a majority of the people hate all the words. You know, people are like, ew, folds, I cringe. And like, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. And that's another thing that I loved doing in Earthed is like, what do you want me to say? The seminal fluid instead of like, he came all over me. So I was like, I'm going to say all the words that are like clinical, scientific, erect, penile, whatever. And it's not the same as like his thick, girthy cock thing. You just need that.
Yeah, sometimes you just need a cockticle, you know?
Sometimes.
You need a cockticle.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's probably my
That's
favorite
so
word right
funny.
now, actually. I actually,
I also love what is it? Deep port, dark port. Thea came up with dark port. And I think they might even be in the same sentence, but I
Dark port.
love that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the dark port.
You referred to, I think it was in Cupped, an someone's or her asshole as the void, and I was like, you know what?
it
I'm gonna call it that now. It's the void.
it's the void.
Asshole is always the void.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. I even said at one point in my questions that in chapter 3 of Melt for Daddy, you used 4 different names for penis in one paragraph. And I was like, this is so great. I should have wrote them all down, but I didn't.
I didn't even realize that.
I was like, wow,
Yeah,
that's a
I
lot.
didn't even realize that. But I really don't like repeating words. It's one of the things that I like when I'm editing, when I write, I'm just like whatever stream of consciousness that just comes out. And then when I edit and I'm like, I I don't. That being said, yes, I did say daddy 46 times in Melt for
You
Daddy.
did.
That's
You
different.
did.
That was his official title.
Mhm.
There was a lot of daddies, but the Ice Cube didn't have a name. So
He was just
it
daddy.
was daddy.
Yeah.
He was just sir. He was just like the head ice in charge and shit like that. So he was daddy. But aside from that, I'm not a big fan of repeating words. So I do my best to like rack my brain and figure out what else can I use here. And sometimes I can't, but then there's other times where it's a peen heavy scene, and apparently I needed 4 different words for cock. Now it's a lot of cock in one
It was
paragraph.
so much. I'm here for it though. So, what's your favorite word for
Good.
penis? What's your favorite word for penis?
I do when I'm writing, my favorite one to do is like whatever hood, like coming up with whatever silly hood thing. But I mean, there's nothing like a well-placed cock.
You're
But
right.
I like manhood. It just feels like official when I write manhood, plainhood. It just feels very I don't know, bookish to me.
Yes.
Because I don't think I'd go to my husband and be like, let me see your manhood. I actually did that for a bit. Like I was just playing around with him to see if he'd notice that like every time we'd have our intimate moments, I'd call it something else. This poor guy. And he got to a point where he's like, what are you doing? It's research. What do you you don't like these names? He's like, no. No. And I had people like vote on like what should I use next on Instagram.
Coctical has my vote for next. We gotta
Yeah.
bring out the coctical.
Yes.
He eventually sussed me out. Like, no, stop this.
Please, no, not the bear hood.
There are some really strange ones, and I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, that's so funny.
Well, I was gonna ask, do you plan to write outside of the sentient object genre? But you gave us the little zombie and the cyclops, so
Which I cannot wait for.
I'm writing all the time. Yeah. Oh, which one?
Both of them.
both.
Both. Okay.
Excited for anything you put out.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I write a lot. And as strange as it is to hear, I don't publish nearly half of what I write. I'm just writing stories all the time. Some of them are like really short. I've started putting my little quickies out, like the lint trap monster and the nose man. They're just like little tiny, silly things that I think are funny or like are relatable. We all avoid laundry. And it sits there in the big chair, just like staring at me, like, put away your
Yeah.
clothes. And it just, yeah, the lint trap monster, for some reason, it just made me laugh, like reaching in there and being like, that's my cock. So,
My lint cock.
yeah,
I
that
love
was a
it.
fun one to write.
Oh, well. I didn't get to read that one, and now I feel like I'm adding it to the thing right now.
Yeah, those ones get weird. And the nose man, I know, I like almost didn't put it out there because I'm like, I'm just waiting to do the one that people are like, Holly, reel it in. Because the nose man is like, the
No.
lore of that one is 25 years ago, he was playing Got Your Nose with somebody, and that person took his nose and his nose ran away. And now his nose is back on the front porch, but his nose grew a penis and they're going to get it on. And it's just like,
Oh,
why?
with his own nose?
With his own nose.
With his own nose?
With his
With
own
his own nose?
Holly,
With
in the
his own nose.
corner. In the corner for
Where is it?
20 minutes.
Oh.
Time out.
Oh, it's going on the
That's
list
a
right
timeout.
now.
His own nose comes back.
I have to give some up.
And it's, had a whole life.
That's a holy
And-
shit, his own nose.
Oh, I just downloaded it.
And I'm like,
We're reading that.
Is this the one I need to? Okay. And that's kind of my thought process is like, is this the one that I should hold back and not share with people? And then I'm like,
No.
fuck it. They'll either find it or they don't. And there are people, I just kind of drop things on Amazon all the time. And I'm just like, here you go. There are things that I promote, like my bigger books, but then there's other ones that I'm just like, if you find it, it was meant for you. And I'm just like, boop. So I'm such a chaos gremlin. I write all over the place and then I release it and I'm like, y'all can know about it or not. And that's for you to decide. I'm not.
I want to know about it.
I don't know, because for me, it still blows my mind that anybody wants to read this.
I'm so excited.
It's so. I think it's like I've never read it before, and I know there's other authors. I just haven't like come across them yet. But it's just different. Like I read a lot of fantasy. I read a lot of dark romance. So it's like fun to have something new.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
just like a little kid, like with their favorite movie, like just so excited for something new.
That's me too. I read a lot of fantasy and oh, I love dark romance so much.
Same.
Like, I'm so grateful for the bookish community online and on social media because for the longest time I thought I was the only one. And I'm just like, these things should not be as hot as
Mm-hmm.
they are. But oh my gosh, I'm sweating right now. And like, I can't let people know that I read this. And now there's like this whole community of like, yep, that's what we do.
That's
Our men are
us.
Yeah.
bad, but the sex is great.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. And you can see it sometimes show up in my writing, like the darker side of it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just because that's what I consume so much is the bad, morally gray, or just morally dark main
Mm-hmm.
character. And then sometimes I watch or I write like really kind of like goofy characters like the Cuppies.
I
Yeah.
like the
There's
puppies.
not a morally gray bone in their body. They are just straight up happy to live life kind of
Mm-hmm.
guys.
Love the
No,
puppies.
as I was reading your books, I kept thinking to myself, like, damn, she would be like an amazing dark romance writer.
Yeah.
Like I felt it like in bits and pieces. I was like, she could do it, like for
That's what I
sure.
started with is horror romance, like straight up gruesome slasher unaliver
Ooh.
who gets the girl. And I like love writing those so much, but I don't know, I never put it out there. Maybe I should. Maybe
Yeah,
I
I was
should
gonna
put those out
say
there.
I
I'll arc read
literally
for
clicked
you.
on your name on Kindle and downloaded everything.
Same.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
downloaded everything under your name, and I was like, I didn't see
Aw.
anything else. It was mostly like the sentient stuff. So
Yeah, well, thank you. I
yeah.
will probably just for the sake of anybody who picks up other stories that aren't sentient, I'm probably going to change my name, like my pen name, just so that
Yeah.
people
Mm-hmm.
aren't like, "Oh, I love this, whatever basic story. What else do you have? What the fuck is a nose man?" I think it'd be a little too discordant.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, monsters and sentient, that's all going under the Holly Wilde moniker. Yeah.
Yeah, you need a good dark romance name. Holly batshit crazy.
Perfect.
I agree.
Holly, Holly batshit.
Well,
That's perfect. I have a bat tattoo, so I can get down with that.
Oh, love that.
we are the baddie besties.
Yeah, we are.
I know.
I don't think Abby asked this, but in Poseidon you had two POVs, and she wants to know why you didn't do that with every story.
Yeah, so we actually didn't write it as two POVs to start with. It started out just from Isla's POV, and then it was close to done when we were like, you know what? I think we need to round this out with like how the sand sees her on the beach and really, really drive home that ridiculous miscommunication trope at the beginning where she's talking about her daddy and he's like, her daddy, Dom. It's like, when her father, but you don't realize it
Right.
until later in the story. And so then we went and we added Poseidon's POV. And after that, I was like, yeah, why do I not show from the sentient objects point of view? So a lot of the projects that I have right now going are dual POV because I do like seeing from the object's eyes. I had a reader request with they want a ranch dressing. And so you get Ranch's point of view for that story.
Okay.
and that's I'm excited about. That one's another one that I think might be a little longer and a little more in depth. So, yeah,
That's exciting.
Ranch and his sweetie
Ranch.
to be released at some unknown date.
Well, can't wait for that. I love ranch.
Yeah. Ranch is my favorite.
Um,
It's so good. We go through a lot of ranch here at this household too. I'm like, I can totally do ranch.
we
Um,
we eat so much ranch.
Why
so I'm
did
hope
come to my mind instead of condiment?
Oh,
brilliant.
Cocktament.
I love that.
that's
Now you
so
see what it's like being in my brain. Everything I can just
Yeah.
add cock to it. Cocktament.
Yeah.
that's so funny.
I mean, everything is peen or cock. I think
Mhm.
my next release is the Halloween one, which will absolutely be named Halloween. And I'm so excited for
Yeah.
that. No one's, it's so spooky and
Oh, I can't
Oh my
wait.
weird.
gosh. Spooky
I
peen.
can't-
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Oh,
It's,
I can't
oh
wait
my
for
gosh, it's
that.
so much fun. I'm having so much fun with that.
That
Yeah.
sounds so good.
I
So
love spooky season, so
I'm trying to shoot for August for that one, but we'll just have to see how all the editing continues and everything.
mhm.
But it's it's so weird. I'm like it's Halloween. We've got some demonic rituals that summon things. We've got things that come alive. Um there's like it's a whole journey, that
Whole
story.
We
spooky
can't
journey.
we can't wait to go on it.
Mhm.
Uh,
Um, do you have any do you do signings? Do you have any signings planned?
yeah, I do have a virtual signing coming up. Again, it is hard with my family schedule and just also with like illness. I don't venture too far out. I'd probably be easier if all airplanes were sentient airplanes, but alas,
Alas.
they
Mhm.
are not. So, luckily, there's this really amazing virtual convention in August that I will be a part of, and I will be signing and sending out books. It's the Bite Me Monster Con. It's
Yeah.
August 16th, 17th, and 18th. It's free, which is
Ooh.
exciting. And
That's
I'm
so
actually
cool.
doing a little giveaway. Anybody that gets a signed book from me is entered in a giveaway where I'm giving I wrote it down beside me so I don't forget all the little goodies. Um, this really cool TBR tarot deck that I found where like you go through and you pick out like, it's like read a book that has like a pet on the cover or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh,
Oh,
this is
that's
so
so cool.
fun.
I
And
love
a little
that.
nod to my TBR monster. Um, Bite Me temporary tattoo, just like a little squirrely bite me. A horned cock mark because everybody loves their cock marks.
Yes.
And
mhm.
the deviled egg had that amazing horn penis. And I thought that was so perfect. Um, and then like a little pen with penises on it. And then I'm making stickers. So things like cluck cluck is going to be on a sticker. Kind of let's see, my husband's designing them all and I saw a few of them. He's got like one that's like I heart turbulence and the letters are all
Oh, I
wavy
need
and
that
yeah,
one.
and then
Oh, that's
Gotta have
cool.
that.
yeah.
Mhm.
So we're trying to create stickers for all of the books so that if you order like a signed book plate or a signed book from me, then I can toss in some little swag
I
because
love
Oh,
it.
I think
that's
that's the funnest part
so
of the
cute.
conventions
Yeah.
is like little gifts to give to the readers. I love that. So I'm excited to be able
Mhm.
to be a part of that facet of the author culture because I haven't been able to make the time um, to sign up to any other in-person cons. They're all pretty far away from me. I'm in the country. I'm in the middle of nowhere,
I
so
feel that.
nothing's near
Literally
me.
nothing
and
is near me.
Yeah.
and it's nice to yeah, it would be so much to travel somewhere with like all of the books and stuff. And so,
Mhm.
especially since a lot of the signups are a year in advance, and I was so new when the requests and stuff were going in for 2025. I think everybody's like solidified their 2025 tables. So I'm just like, oh, okay. And now people know me, and I'm like, oh, maybe 2026 would be good if people still know and enjoy my books, if I'm still hanging out with y'all. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping to be at something in person in the future. But for now, I'm really excited that there's this virtual convention that I'll be on the camera for like an hour talking and answering any what the fucks
Yeah.
that
Nice.
No,
everyone brings to me.
that's cool that they have the online thing, because I mean, I'll
Yeah.
definitely
I think I
join.
will
I'll
too.
join the. Is it like I'm assuming it's a live?
Yeah, it's live. It is through, I can give you the link as well. It is through the Bite Me Monster Con Facebook page.
Okay.
And so there are a ton of authors also on it, like really great. It's monsters, sentient object authors,
Oh,
um, all kinds of really amazing people. So you get to meet a lot of and hear a lot of people talk for free. That's really
yeah.
cool.
That is
I think
really
it's
cool.
really cool. And I think they are planning on doing panels and stuff like that, but the details are still being released.
Cool.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I'll definitely join in. I mean, it's free and we get to see you,
Yeah, for
so
real.
Yay!
win-win.
I'm gonna write it down so I don't
But
forget.
it would be so cool to see you in person one day.
I
I'm
agree.
hopeful. I think it'd be really fun um, to actually like meet you guys and meet readers. I think that'd be really neat, and yeah, to just be like, oh my gosh, you're like a real person reading something that I
Mm-hmm.
put into the world. It still blows my mind seeing people hold up my books or like hold up their Kindle with my cover on it.
Yeah.
It's it's an amazing feeling to know that I put something out there that somebody chose to spend their time with and then enjoyed it and wanted
Mm-hmm.
to read more. Um, I didn't expect that, but I'm really grateful. It's surreal.
Yeah, I'm so thankful Abby told me about SPF Me, because
She
that
loved
shit
that
Was
book.
that your
blew my
first?
mind. Yeah,
She loved that book.
I loved it so much. I had a whole photo shoot with it. Yeah,
Oh,
I was loving
that
it.
picture is still like
Oh
my
my
favorite
gosh.
one you've ever
Right
taken.
after I like the day that I released it, my mother-in-law texted me like, "Hey, when you come over, don't forget the SPF." And my husband and I looked at each other like, "Does she know?" And then we're like, "No, she really just means sunscreen." And this is where life gets to be dangerous as a sentient author because it's like, do they know? Do they know my secret? Do they know what I'm doing?
Does your family know that you write?
My sister knows. So my sister actually asked me recently, "Hey, do you have a Goodreads?" And I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "Yeah, I just want to like connect on Goodreads." And so I asked her some preliminary questions before I gave her the details of it because she's really into fantasy. We read a lot of the same books in the fantasy realm. She doesn't really do dark romance, and she does not venture over to this side, or even monsters or anything like that. She's just like a straight up high fantasy person, or and romantasy as well. And so I was like, "Have you ever heard of any of these people? Have you ever heard of Unfortunate Reads? Have you ever heard?" And like, I just kind of, she's like, "No, who are they? Do I need to look them up?" And that was, I believe, the week that Unfortunate Reads did a reel on my egg book, and I sent it to her, and I was like, "Just so you know, I wrote this, and if you follow me on Goodreads, this is the kind of stuff you're going to be exposed to. She's like in her 30s. It's not, she's not.
Yeah.
And so she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're a writer? That is so cool." And that felt really good having my little sister. I don't know, think it was really cool. And now she like will occasionally um just send me things or like my posts, and I'm like, "Aw."
That's
It feels
cute.
really cool. So she's the only one. Obviously, my husband knows since he is my partner in this wild journey. But that's it. Knock on wood. I
I
don't know how
mean,
it.
that's kind of
Yeah,
cool that you're like a double agent.
Yeah.
Like no
yeah.
one knows that like you write
They
books. Like
know
that's
I
so cool.
write, and they're like, "Oh, I'll read what you write," and I'm like, "Oh." No, it's
No.
romance. And anyone that's like, "Oh, I'm okay with romance," I'm like, "Oh, it's like paranormal, like Twilight or something." And they're like, "Oh, I'm not really into like the vampire thing." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's
Ugh.
okay. You don't have to read it. It's for people that like this stuff."
Hmm.
Like it's okay. I don't need your help. That's okay.
But I am grateful for certain mainstream things. So I can, like, again, just kind of be like, okay, if it weren't for books like Twilight or like random stuff like that, we wouldn't be able to talk about, like, I write paranormal romance as
Mhm.
easily. I wonder if Sentient will ever get there. It might not. There might not be like a day where it's like, oh, it's like this thing, totally fine and normal to have sunscreen, plop out into the pool after an incredible orgasm,
Yeah.
high-fiving inside the body.
That
Totally normal.
that was the best
That
high
part
five.
killed me. God.
Oh man.
I love
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
I think
about
it has a
sharing. Yeah.
I think it has its platform. Like it'll get its day.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know about it till recently and now it's my whole personality. So
Oh my gosh, I love that. But I am glad to be in this genre. It's fun, it's ridiculous, and I've met some really cool people
mhm.
being a part of such a unique little niche. It really is like a little community. We all kind of know each other at this point, and it's fun. It's fun just joking around about like objects. It's so fun having people tag me in something crazy that is like incredibly phallic or you know, feminine and being like, "This is what you need to make." And I'm like, "Well,
Mhm.
thank you for thinking of me for this awesome, wacky object that showed up on your
Yeah.
feed." It's a good feeling, I think.
I think it would be a great feeling.
It's amazing.
Well, I think you answered all of my questions. So,
Yeah, it's an hour already.
how did we get
It didn't even feel
there?
like we're just vibing talking about cocktails and
Tickles,
hey,
cocktails,
cocktails.
Yeah. Time flies when you're
talking
talking
about
about cock.
Yeah.
Yes.
It just rolls off your tongue.
really does.
Yeah.
Really does.
Oh man.
Well, you have anything else, Maddie?
Well, I think that's no, I think that we got a good episode.
We did. This was great, Holly. Thank you.
I had so much fun
that's-
talking with you both. This is really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I had so much fun. We'll have to do it again once you put out some more and when you give us that Cyclops.
For real.
Yes, I'm really excited about that one. It's I yeah, it's a big it's a big one. Sometimes I look at the word count and I'm like, wow, I wrote that because I'm so used to these like little, 30-page, maybe 50-page books. And I'm like, this one's hefty. This one's a lot bigger.
Mhm.
And it feels really cool. So I'm really excited about that one. It's even though the subject is kind of funny, thinking of a cyclops with an eye doctor, there's not like puns or anything. So there's definitely like a nervousness for releasing something so different
Yeah.
and being like, I hope you guys enjoy something that isn't just straight up humor. But we'll have to see, I guess, because it really is just like a monster dark romance because I love dark romance and I love monsters.
Yeah. No, I'm
So
excited.
I'm excited because I love both of those things.
Oh, thank you. That gives me a little bit more bravery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
It does get that's the one thing about being sentient is it does like I wonder sometimes like did I create something that people are going to be like, "Oh, I just like you being funny." And I'm like, "Do I need to branch out to different names and stuff?" But that's so much work. So you guys can just decipher which ones are the funny ones and which ones are not. And
just
and
read
hope
the
for the
blurb.
best.
we read
Yeah, the
blurb.
blurb helps.
Yeah.
And also, like, if the pages are thicker, know that it's probably not going to just be the smut. The smut's not the plot. There's
Right.
like a real plot
Mhm.
here.
Right. It's 500 pages of plot, like smut and puns. All right. Well, I think that's all we got for you today, darling.
That was perfect.
It was.
I really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
this. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course.
That was really, really
course.
cool. I appreciate
Of
it.
course.
It was
Thanks
fun
for
talking about
joining
the
us.
books.
It
Yeah.
was.
And I hope you aren't totally turned off by my nose man when you pick that up.
Oh,
Oh, I'm immediately going
literally
to read that.
as soon as we get off here,
Oh my gosh.
it's happening.
Okay.
Mhm. Me and Abby will FaceTime and talk and read about the nose man.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
we'll be messaging you later.
Yeah. Just keep an eye out for any other strange drops.
Right.
We're here for it.
That go out there. So
We're here.
sounds good.
Oh, and me and Abby are also doing this new thing. If you've made it this far for the listeners in the podcast, we are going to give away one of Holly's books.
Yes, we are.
So if you message our podcast, Bookishly Unhinged podcast, with our code word will be Coctical.
Practical.
So if you message us Coctical, we will put you in a drawing to win one of her books.
Yes.
So
Oh my gosh. I love that Coctical is a code word. That
yes,
is so
Coctical.
cool.
Coctical.
That's
It has to
perfect.
be.
Oh my goodness. That is so sweet.
Yeah.
Good luck
Yeah.
to everybody who wants the book. Tell
Yeah,
me
and
what they choose. I'm so curious.
Yeah, I
Oh,
will.
yeah.
And no one, like, we don't advertise it. So if you made it this far,
Yeah.
then
Then you
good
earned
luck.
it.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Oh my
After this
gosh,
wild
that is
ride.
so cool.
It was a
Well,
wild
I
ride.
love your show. I listened to your old episodes, and it's so fun. You guys are just really fun. You have a really good vibe together.
Thanks.
Y'all are the batty besties.
Batty
And
besties.
it's
With
really,
our
really
unhingedness.
amazing. It's so good, though. It's so good. You guys did that one episode of things in books that shouldn't like they're just not the same in real life. And like the whole time I was like, yeah, no, if it's in a book, I'm like, gotta have it in real life. I'm like, please go,
Please
get away
no.
from me. This is not okay.
Right?
It's definitely strange, the bookish mind where things are so hot, but then I have to tell my husband, even things that I write, he's like, is this something that, and I'm like, no, this is not my thing. This is just a book. This is not, we're not into that.
Just a
Right? I'll
So
read the most unhinged stuff, but please keep it in the
please.
books.
well, thank you guys again. I really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
of
And I hope
course.
to
Thank
see
you
you
for
at
coming
the Bite Me
on.
Monster Con.
Oh, we'll be there.
Oh, we will be there.
We'll be there.
Yay.
Great.
All right.
Well, thank you so
All right.
much.
Bye.
We appreciate you.